offered details for temporary structures. We had discussion on the exterior materials for accessory and principal structures with no recommendations being made. We included a section on demolition standards in the city. We added 2 new special land uses for cottage courts and large battery energy storage systems. And we updated quite a bit in the signage ordinance to remove neutral content and provisions for temporary signs and promotional materials. One of the things that was discussed at the meeting was looking at the addition of existing gravel drives to allow them to be extended, and I took back to the planning commission. They did, as you can see in the packet, it is being recommended to allow, I can figure I get to the right page, I'll show you. Page 125, that would allow up to 2 feet to be enlarged on an existing gravel drive outside of what they had originally permitted as on a one-time basis.
This is totally important. Maybe one can go tackle. This is
Page 457. Yeah, we have the zoning ordinance up. Let's see. So this is the section, basically said the ordinance has already been written that all new driveways are solid surface. This would allow an existing non-hard surface driveway or parking area that was permitted prior to 2011 may be expanded by up to 2 feet in width without requiring this additional area to be constructed of a hard surface material. The exception may only be utilized once and is subject to compliance with all other applicable requirements of this zoning ordinance. So that was the one thing that was changed. Yeah, right now we're just bringing back content. In the future, I'm going to bring back the reformatting of the ordinance. A couple of things that we talked about at the planning commission as well was just when we, that I didn't bring up at the work session, was childcare homes. So at the local level, cities, childcare homes, 1 to 12 kids in the home are permitted use. And if you were in a township, 1 to 6 is permitted use, 7 to 12 is a special land use that allows the cities to make up their own regulations on 7 to 12. At the planning commission level, we moved to put the 7 to 12 as a special land use because we are running into issues where we're having daycares right next to each other, and it's causing some issues with some of the neighborhoods. So some of the neighbors are complaining to us, and just adding it as a special land use will allow those people to be notified so they can come in and give us their complaints or some ideas to help improve that neighborhood. So we're looking to add childcare homes from 7 to 12 as a special land use. So that was one thing that was added that I didn't go over at the last meeting. Happy to answer any questions. I think that's all the things that were changed in the packet. You'll see in the red line there were some blue things that were pretty minor that were added throughout the zoning ordinance. But happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Any questions for Mr. Pritchard?
Any questions? Just comment. Okay. Sure. Just, nice job going through all this stuff. There's a lot of red going through it. And that cleaned up version really looks nice. But there are a lot of things in there for from a redundancy standpoint, and even just little things that just didn't make sense that you guys really spent a lot of time. I very appreciate that from your end, because we've heard a lot of things over the years and also suggestions to us and to your department in specific about these kind of things, and we have to take issue to take care of them. So I appreciate the time spent.
Mr. Montana?
Yes.
Yes, I would say that certainly our 5.5 hours, whatever we spent, I would agree that 99% of it, I can commend you and the planning board for the changes. It was a lot. I confess that I believe there's still 1 or 2 sticking points, and I've thought about it since our meeting. I am still concerned, and I'm only one of 7 other commissioners here tonight, and I certainly, and I have no problem moving forward with the caveat that there's still a sticking point that I would like to at least say that I think that maybe it's something that we still look at in the near future. I know we had some discussion, and I think it was too much for that evening to discuss, but I still believe we're dealing with roofs and some of the colors. It's such a hot topic in our community to just skim over it and not have further discussion could be a problem. And again, I know I'm one of 8 here tonight. I just personally have thought about it a lot, and I think it's still a really hot topic. I just need to bring it, but I don't want to ruin, I don't want to not move forward with all the other things. And I know a lot of work has been put into that, and I really do appreciate it. But it makes me, I'm still very concerned about it. It's just something that I've heard, and I'm a new commissioner. You know, this is my second or third meeting. And
Could you
so
identify your concern?
it's the fact that they have to be the same color. I mean, we're talking about, it's not just a matter of, it's a financial thing. It's a hardship. And we kind of blew over it, and we talked about painting it, and it kind of, I feel like it's, I don't know, I'm uncomfortable.
If you don't mind, maybe Will, you could give a little background comment for those who maybe weren't in the work session, and just an overview of that particular area and some of what you've gone through with the planning commission in terms of review of that particular topic.
Yeah, so this has been, again, hot topic for our department as well over the years. So I think over the last 2 years, I've taken it to the planning commission 3 times with different suggestions. And every time they have decided to continue with the way that it was written without making any changes, I've offered suggestions just such as the house itself needs to match itself and the accessory structure needs to match itself so you don't have to mismatch. Offered suggestions, not doing anything, offered suggestions of offering some kind of agreement. And again, planning commission at that time felt that they were happy with the way that it was going. They liked the improvement in the city by what was happening, so didn't feel like it was necessary. So we did have a couple of citizens did show up at the meetings. I think it was back in 2023 when we had those meetings. So we did address it, and I think we had some commissioners that came to that meeting as well.
And I don't want to be disrespectful to all the work the planning commission has done by any means. I really don't, but I have just heard so much about it, and I believe it is a really financial hardship for a lot of people, and I know that your job is to implement what we have in those ordinances. I certainly know many years I've sat as the director of the chamber, and you do, but ultimately it is city commission who makes that decision, quite frankly. And your job is to implement that. And so it's just one of those things that I'm just personally struggling. Like I said, there are 7 other commissioners here, and I would respect the wishes of the commission. It's just my own personal concern, and I would be remiss not mentioning it. And I heard you say you've taken it back several times, because obviously you've also heard it several times.
My job is when I hear it from the citizens, I make notes, and when it comes up to me at enough, I'm happy to take it to the planning commission. That's my first course.
You've done it 3 times?
Done it 3 times.
That's concerning to me.
It's not after listening to the public. I also have a problem too with the accessory structures, trailer exterior materials for accessory and principal structures. There again goes also to roofs, having the same color roofs. Sometimes that's hardships. If someone has the money to change the paint or the vinyl or whatever outside coloration of their house, maybe they don't have enough for the garage, or maybe they just don't want to. There again, I think that should be an option up to the homeowner, not the city, not the government. So I have a problem with that. I need to take that. You state that you've already taken it back, and basically there was no action taken. So these are some issues that there again I've heard from. Another issue was concrete. Someone wanted to enlarge the width of their concrete driveway, And, they wanted to bring it within a foot of their property line, and we were told we couldn't do that. He wanted to know why. I said, well, I don't know, apparently we talked to him. He lives around, South Nottingham on Congress. You can call it a conversation with the gentleman, but, he was quite upset with that, and said his driveway wasn't wide enough for him to get his vehicles up there. So there's still questions out there. And then I had a little bit of a conversation about this, and if it's a matter of, if we need to take and approve the first hearing, and then have a workshop or work session or something to bring up discussions to give anybody who wants to come forward. If people are talking to other citizens and would like them to come forward, or to give the commissioners their opinions to bring forward, that we have that space in between the second reading, first and second reading, if that is acceptable for the commission.
Isn't this the spot where residents should be coming to voice their concern at this point?
Was this sent out to the commission, or to the public?
It's published, but I mean, if people have issues and they know that they have these issues, I guess this would be the point, not make a special meeting.
Well, this doesn't say anything about this being a public hearing for this zoning ordinance.
Right.
And just because the planning commission recommends this zoning ordinance, we can amend it and we can change it if there are things we do not like. Also, we don't have to accept it the way they have it
I
written.
understand that.
So,
If I may, Mr. Dyson,
Good.
if our person, which is Will, is telling us that he's had enough citizens complain to him, isn't that enough evidence that there's a problem?
I'm not saying that.
No, I'm just asking, I'm just saying,
I'm
that
just
if,
talking about having a special meeting to discuss it.
I didn't
when
I'm just-
discussing it.
I guess the evidence to me is that our person in our community development is telling us that we've had enough complaints. That's evidence to me that we have a problem. He's telling us that we've had complaints too.
I understand that, yeah.
I guess that's what I'm saying, so I'm believing there's a problem.
Yeah, I guess the question is what opportunity, how do we get word, how do people get word of this, that it's on the agenda or not, and it's all public? Now, you brought up a good point about the open meeting, or the public hearing kind of portion of it. Is there a specific thing that would need to be done for a public hearing versus just a reading?
So, the way,
Yep.
the way the process typically works with these, the public hearings conducted at the planning commission, and there were several, there's at least one, probably several public hearings on zoning ordinance, is that right? We've had two public hearings on zoning ordinance. And then it comes here and it's given first and second, and that's typically the process that goes through. I guess one of my questions is, if the